apparently I'm going to be taking a swing here for Alex. Geez, I promised myself I wasn't going to speak while I was up here. I love Ben. He was a great guy. We hung out on any number of occasions, eyebrow things or not. I remember the last time we were at a conference up at ACRL Washington, and he had gone mushroom hunting for chanterelles, and he just brought back what must have been like 5 gallons of chanterelles just after some very limited amount of time. He was a great man. He was kind. He was absolutely brilliant, and I'm a better person for having known him, even if in just that the casual way that we did. So, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Marie and I'm the academic advisor for the MLIS program at the iSchool. So funny because I come up here all the time and I speak in front of students and like half the room is full of my former students, and it's a little tougher than it has been in the past. Ben started at the iSchool in 2009, and he started in the GA position with Robin, and I called Robin, Grace, and Ben the dream team because they really were. They were amazing colleagues, and whenever there's a student worker who takes on like a GA position or something, they elevate themselves from just being a student or an advisee into this position of colleague and friend. So I had the real pleasure for about 2 years to see Ben on a really regular basis, a few times a week. Yeah, he was solid. He was a great guy. I came to him, well, he came to me for advising, and I would sit there in an advising session like, what do they pay me for? Because you got it together. I don't know what I'm doing today. So we would just visit with each other. And we have a lot of students that go through. And I kind of put something on Facebook last night, so those of you who are on Facebook with me probably saw it. Doel, my colleague, is an advisor too, and I think he knows what I'm feeling right now. And we have some faculty here too. Students come through, and they make an impact on us more than they know. And I look around this room today, and one of the things that's so amazing was that a lot of you have made an impact on my life. And Ben was one of those guys. I still remember Isaac walking in with his bike all the time, right? And John George. I learned what a damn position is, digital asset manager. There are so many ways I want to tell you all how much as students you mean to faculty and staff at the iSchool. And I was really lucky because I got to actually tell Ben a couple weeks ago. He volunteered to help do an online panel. And we've been keeping in touch over Facebook and everything, but I had a chance to interact with him more, and he was online with the panel, and the other panelists had some technical difficulties. And there's Ben, and the camera's on him, he's in his home, and he's helping out, and he starts making suggestions like he used to do when he was a GA, like, how's your bandwidth? So he starts basically jumping into that role of helping out again. So not only was he there to support future students or future professionals, he supported me. He supported the other panelists. And then at the end of the panel, I was able to say, Ben, I'm so glad you were here tonight. I'm so proud of you and to watch everything you've accomplished since you were a student. And I'm really thankful that I had that chance to interact with him. And I know a lot of you had a chance to interact with him recently, and it's just kind of that great opportunity that we thought to have that only God knows why we had that chance. So I had the pleasure also of telling his mom today that Ben won the 21st Century Librarian Award when he was a student, and that's an award that's voted upon, and that faculty and students, and I mean, when Ben's name was announced, everyone just nodded their heads and cheered for him because he deserved it. He had done so much for the iSchool, so much for his colleagues, so much for the profession, and we knew he had a great future ahead of him, right? And when Ben walked off the stage, and I'm a hugger, he's not, I hug my students all the time. And I just took him, and I hugged him, and I said, Ben, you deserve it. You should be so proud of yourself, because we all are proud of you. And so that's the biggest thing I can say about Ben, and actually a lot of you in this room today, is how proud I am of him, how proud I am of our students, and what you guys do for this profession and the iSchool community. And we love you, and we wish we could see you more often in not situations like this. But we'll always remember Ben, because his future is still bright, because his name's on a plaque in the iSchool lobby right now, and it will always be there to remind people of what he accomplished.
Hi, I'm Hill. Just think for a moment. I've known Ben since second grade. I'm 31 now, and I've spent, Ben was my best friend. Sorry, I still.
Take your time, Hill. We're not in a hurry.
Okay. It just really touched my heart. He knew everything about me. We talked literally every single day. Maybe it was just a couple of words or a long conversation, but I just knew him really well. Everything that's been said here today is so true. And sometimes when someone passes, people raise people to a certain level. In this case, Ben is above that level. I will never forget Ben for the rest of my life. Obviously, I'll be thinking of Ben in everything I do and everything. I want to talk to him really bad. We went on a road trip together in 2001 from Michigan to Seattle, and I met Ben's parents when we were in elementary school, and there's just so many things. I can't get to them all, of course, but I'm one of the people that was involved in his life in a sincere way, and I really love Ben a lot. And I have hundreds of stories. I guess I just wanted to say that I'm just another one of the people that was really close to Ben. And he's really, I don't know, he's the best, one of the best friends I've ever had, and I'll probably ever have. So, thanks.
Okay. Really don't want to do this, all these people, but I'm going to because I think it's important, obviously. I was really good friends with Ben growing up in the 90s. He was my best friend. And so many stories, I can't, just like Hill said, there's just too many. He was very, very smart as a kid. He was just brilliant. He was crafty. He was very clever.
Crafty, yeah.
He did, the thing where you take a rubber band and you wrap it around your fingers like a gun and you shoot it. He did that. He could shoot it like across a long distance. I never got that good at it. I tried, but Or, you know, he'd take a soda can, I remember, and he'd crack it open so that it was just, like, you could barely tell that it was open. It was just a sliver. And he'd tip it upside down, and it would just steadily drop, just so he could drink it like that. There's countless little things like that. I mean, he was just a fascinating person. And The Big Lebowski, we had a lot of things that meant a lot to us, to our friendship, that we cherished, that became like ritual. But The Big Lebowski takes the cake. And we must have watched that movie about 20 times just in the first year that it was released onto what would then still be videotape, I believe. And I mean, it just, even if we weren't really like watching a movie, we were just hanging out and listening to music or talking about life, just have The Big Lebowski on, you know, and it was just, it might sound silly, you know, I know it's just a movie, but it's one of my favorite films of all time, and I think I can say with confidence that Ben would place it in his top 10 at least, maybe top 5, maybe higher, I don't know. But it meant a lot to us, and it's, you know, I'll always remember him for a lot of things, but definitely anytime I watch The Big Lebowski, I will always think of my friend Ben. And there's a lot of other stories that I could tell, but I can't do it right now. And I'm really sorry for everyone's loss. I didn't really get to spend a lot of time with Ben the last few years, which I deeply regret. And but it seems like he really impacted a lot of you guys. I mean, I don't really know any of the people here that you know he worked with, but you can just tell just from listening to people. I mean, this was a guy who really cared about other people, and he made a difference in a lot of people's lives. And I just think if there's a lesson here that I've gleaned out of this or from this whole thing, it's that you know, life is really too short to hold grudges or resentments, and you know, it's all about forgiveness, because life is short, and everybody says that. Sometimes it doesn't feel short. It feels really fucking long, and until it is short, and it feels short, and you just wish, you know, just all the petty shit that we hold over another person, just hold against a person for months or years, just fucking forget it. Just go forgive that person and get on with your life, because it's worth it. And you never know. You never know. And I wish I could give him a hug. I wish I could tell him how much he's meant to me over the years, through the years. I mean, I'll think about him all the time, and I don't know what else to say right now, so thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Trent Hill. I teach at the high school. I know a lot of you guys, just looking at this audience, from having been basically in this position before with you, and I just really sure as hell wish that this was not the occasion to bring us all back together. I worked with Ben for a couple years as a student in some of my classes, where he was brilliant, quiet, but I always knew that he was capable of reducing the class to cackles if he wanted to. And he was, you know, the work he did was amazing, but really I never thought of Ben as a student. I thought of him as a colleague, as somebody who I worked with and worked for occasionally, you know, even when I was asking him to, like, you know, turn stuff in for me. He applied for a position at the high school, and my last the last extended conversation that I had with Ben was when he was applying for this position, and I was, you know, I'd assumed the sort of the rhetorical stance of, I guess, what I think of as academic deadpan, where you're trying to maintain, you know, you're trying to maintain sort of professional veneer. You're not trying not to be overly exuberant, you know. But I was giving all this advice, and you know, but there was a silent, man, I love you, and I want to work with you. there because he was funny and smart and brilliant. And I miss him. I miss the fact that I never really got to talk to him after that. And I really miss the fact that I will not get a chance to talk with him after this. That's really all I wanted to say, but as somebody, actually no, as somebody who himself has wrestled with depression over the years, I know that in our field and in this wonderful climate that we live in, a lot of us wrangle with depression. You know, if you are somebody who's worked with me, had a class with me, do not ever feel like you're alone. Send me an email. Talk to me. I'm here. Thanks.
For the three of you who don't know me, I'm Nancy Gershenfeld, and I also teach the iSchool. And for those of you who spent way too many hours in a classroom listening to this voice, I'll be brief. It goes without saying that Ben was a brilliant student, and I know Trent and Matt and the rest of us who are here today could talk a long time about how wonderful he was, and I just want to say he was an amazing student. Unfortunately, I'm reading a lot of recommendation letters right now for admissions, and I'm reading a lot of professors talking about their students, and I'm afraid I just fall into that category. But what I want to talk about just briefly is what it meant to be a faculty member observing a student like Ben, his presence at the iSchool. You know, Robin has talked about her work with Ben and Grace, and yes, it was exactly as she described it, as my observation. But when you teach online, you're kind of hanging out there on your own, trying to figure out how you're going to relate to students who are now around the world. And things keep changing, the technology keeps changing, what you're trying to do keeps changing, and you feel lost, and then Ben would show up, and everything would be okay. Because that calm, knowledgeable, that just a slight smile as he made a suggestion, and suddenly, you know, it was okay. The world was going to be all right again. Another comment I wanted to make is just, again, as a faculty member, observing how Ben was respected and adored by all the students. We're hearing about it today, but you could see it you could see it in the classroom. You could just see it everywhere. And just lastly, I have to thank Angie, because just a week ago she brought us back together. I hadn't seen Ben in several years, and I got to see him at in the College Inn, in the dark, wrapped around a beer, and I now will absolutely treasure that I had that opportunity to see him and talk to him again after I hadn't seen him in a while. So that's kind of the memory that's going to stay with me always.
Hi, my name is Caroline. I have no idea if I'm going to cry or not, so I'm prepared. Ben was in my cohort at the iSchool, and I think the two things that stand out when I think about him are, one, I have seen him in more costumes for costume parties than almost any other human. And two, I have staunchly refused to get involved with student government until I was a graduate school student. And Alex Walker and Ben DeCrease pulled me into it. And I'm really glad. I think that I was really surprised to hear of Ben's death. I think all of us were. But what has come to be really surprising for me in the last week is I didn't know that I thought about him almost every day. And I'm a community college librarian. I was also in info camp. We did graduate school stuff together. He was an eyeballer. Eyeballers forever, kickball team.
Oh.
We were so bad. Not Ben, but the rest of us. I guess I loved him. I appreciated him. Nice work. I'm raising such an incredible person. The things that I wanted, I guess, to share with you guys is that I'm really lucky that I got to see Ben in so many parts of my life, in my personal life, and in my professional life, and in my networking life. And I did once get inappropriately intoxicated at a conference with him and stay up all night. And today I'm really glad that I did that, because that was the one time that I got the chance to see behind the curtain. And Ben told me about parts of his struggle as a human being, which was incredible, because I thought he was like so smart and handsome and kind, and it was shocking to me that he would ever think that that's not how he was perceived. He was perceived that way. And there are a lot of people in this room that are very close to me. Ben is no offense to the rest of you, but Ben is the only person who never said no to me when I asked him for help. Usually it meant that we both had to stay up really late editing truly horrible marketing videos for InfoCamp. But he was a dependable person, but that his kindness was hidden until you got close to him, I think. And it will continue to be an inspiration for me as a professional, as a person that works with students. And I miss him, and I hope to see more of all of you while we still have the chance to be together.
I'm Janelle, and I also was a colleague and in the same cohort as Ben. And Ben and I, we were both GAs. We both worked in IT. It was a lot of work, but we loved it. And he also was really good. I could convince him to do crazy things like join the Eyeballers. Caroline and I decided we wanted to start a kickball team. Here we are in grad school, treating it like undergraduate school. We had so much fun. We go to the College Inn after our 3:30 class every Wednesday and Monday. On Thursdays, we had this kickball team, the Eyeballers, and then later we also had the Dewey Decimators. So we had 2 kickball teams, and Ben was a ringer for both of those teams. He was incredible. And at first I was like, I don't know, librarians, are we going to be any good? But Ben was amazing. He would catch every ball that came his way. Yeah, 2 scoops. The other thing that, this week has been really hard, but that picture of him with the bike, that was a trip to Portland that we took, and I somehow convinced him to do one of those crazy adventure relays where you are jumping over fire and crawling through tunnels of mud, and it was called the Warrior Dash, and I mentioned to Ben that I was doing it, and he wanted to come. And of course, because we were in Portland for the night, and Althea was there, and we had bikes, we're riding around Portland, and we stayed out a little too late and had a little too much to drink, and then we go try to run this adventure relay. And I will never forget, we were crawling through a tunnel. It's one of those just black, you can't see anything, and my friend Liz and I were also doing the race. We were waiting at the end of the tunnel for quite some time. Where's Ben? We haven't seen him in a while, and he comes out of the tunnel, and he's just white as a ghost. He had gotten lost in this tunnel. And it was just so perfect, because he was always down to do anything, and he was such a great person, such a good friend, and he'll be missed. I think we just had so much fun together, and yeah. Thank you.
single picture.
That's pretty good.
I'm not going to go. I'm going to make a few announcements, however. We have time enough, I believe, for about 5 more, and then let you have the closing remarks. But I wanted you guys to know that there's a pretty strong contingent after this going to Schultze's. A little bit more family friendly. We'll hoist one to him there. Meanwhile, this room will be broken down and cleaned up, and in that time, hopefully, we'll all reconvene over at the College Inn for old time's
So
sake.
there are two
Oh yeah,
groups, one going to
2
Schultz.
scoops, my friend.
Yeah.
No, two groups or one after the other?
One
is
after
the question.
the other.
Yeah.
Why not?
Which one was that?
I give the floor to you, Joel.
I was just asking, are there? All right. So Schultze's and then moving on.
Yes.
You want to say something, Kat?
I don't have anything like prepared, and my speech instructor would be so embarrassed if I didn't know that. And the thought of a microphone is a little scary.
So you're projecting enough. I don't
You can
know.
just holler if you want, or you.
No, I guess I'm loud enough. I really don't have anything prepared. I feel silly being up here. And it's funny, I feel like I know Ben in such a different way than all of you. I'm assuming you all know he was my boyfriend. Yeah, like, I know so many of you through him, but he was the love of my life. I just knew him in such a different way. Like, he was the dorkiest guy I've ever met. Like, he was, and actually, our first kiss was at Bathtub Gin and Company, and it was straight out of a romantic comedy. So sweet. But I can remember being, I think I had 3 glasses of wine just to get me like prepared to go like hang out with him. I thought it was a little strange he wanted to hang out with me because I'd just seen him at an Archives reunion like 2 weeks before. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. You're coming in from Wenatchee. I gotta have somebody to hang out with. But yeah, I got together with him, and one of the first things I blurted out to him was, you know, I always feel stupid when I'm talking to you because you're so well educated and I'm not, and you always have these brilliant things to say and I don't. And he just kind of sat there and laughed and was like, no. He was so humble about everything. He was, anyway, so sweet. Gosh. We love to play games, even if it was Connect 4. I bought him Candyland for Christmas. And we played it. And pickup stick.
Well, let me tell you one thing. When he was a kid and we had Candyland, he used to put like the card to like, you know, he used to stack the deck.
Still doing it.
What?
Sounds like you won.
I think he did. I was so mad too. Like, he would win at all these games even though he didn't really play games. And I grew up playing games. And he would win. Although he always thought that I was really good at Connect 4 because there's so much strategy involved. Oh, he was amazing. He's been such a huge encouragement in my life. Like, I started back to school because of him. And we were literally last Sunday morning over brunch talking about taking an Excel class together and just how funny it would be to be classmates together. If nobody knew, it'd be so funny to us. So,
we have so many plans together. We're eventually going to move to Europe. Anyway, yeah. So I miss him so much. That's it. It's not the proper way to end a speech, but that's it. I miss him. So, thank you all for coming. This meant a lot to me. So, and for Alex for putting this all together. So I know you guys are all thanking me, but this is him and all of the underground librarians. So it means a lot to me. Oh, good.
Maybe I'm thinking maybe people are thinking about beer.
Bear in your minds.
I'm going to get up here.
Does anybody want to to see too early?
Yank me off the stage because I'm supposed to close this thing, and I don't want anybody to go away thinking there was something I wanted to say and I didn't get a chance to say it. So if that's you, jump up right now.
And after this, we still have time to eat, so that actually, we can eat and then break down. We'll have a bit of a pocket. So by all means, say your piece.
Well, so what can I say? I just, everybody knows I was proud of Ben, or I am proud of Ben. But I didn't think I could be more proud than I was. But after seeing you all, like this room full of people, and the love that you have for him, in so many different ways, in different facets of his life, and how he managed to find a way to touch people in each of these facets. In this last week, I've learned a lot from thinking this through, and then today even more. And I get the feeling that many of us will come away from this week of reflection as better people. And so, once again, he did it. We're just, his mom and I are really grateful to him. He's always been a real great companion, and we've learned from him, but we've also just really just enjoyed so many different aspects of his multifaceted, varied life, all the stages of evolution from, kind of a rough start and really conquering amazing challenges. I have to feel like, well, I can do that. I mean, I can at least accomplish some of the things that he did, because what I'm facing is so much less. And also, I really wanted to let you know that some of the most meaningful things to me were how you talked about his kindness. And we need more kindness. So I also wanted to mention, I think almost everybody knows that we set up a memorial fund with Brain and Behavior Research Foundation as part of this event. And I checked the balance before I came, and it was over $2,000 already. I'm not gonna sell that, but I do feel as though we're getting. Both Chris and I actually happen to be quite interested in this field, and we're getting closer to being able to resolve some of the things that plague us, along these lines. It's not that far away. We've got the technology to do it. We've got the understanding to help all of us. There are very few of us that don't face some of these same issues. Ben was born with a heavier set of challenges, but I hope that we're all motivated too to do whatever little bit we can to figure this out and get past this problem of depression. And that'll be part of our collective legacy, and thing that we can do for Ben and for each other. I don't know. What else can I say? I think it's the high school is just kind of like the driving force behind this event. They're really into drinking beer. That it's really appropriate for us to raise the class, and whether I'm still not sure whether it's at Schulze's or the college. Let's just go do it, and somebody tell us where to go. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
Class dismissed. So feel free to continue eating and drinking here. I think the first stop will be at 4. We'll have to clean up here, so head to Schulze's.
It's 10 after, Alex.
Oh, well then, yeah, get out of here.